I saw The Killer on Netflix, and you should too. Hi, thank you for tuning into the Tom Patelson Show. Yeah, I saw The Killer by David Fincher starring Michael Fassbender. It's on Netflix, and I wasn't going to see it. I'm not the biggest David Fincher fan, but when you do things like The Social Network and Fight Club and he's quite masterful. I wasn't going to see it, but then people I work with, one guy didn't like it, one guy did like it, and they both had really valid arguments. So I thought, I'm going to check this out and see what I think about this. It is the story of an assassin, a killer, who kills for money, and he has a methodical planning, very enjoyable, mantra, strict, dispassionate thing to watch. The planning stages of every killing is entertaining. It's entertaining. It's an entertaining movie. The story is simple. And by the way, spoiler alert, I'm not going to put on the light. There's going to be lots of spoilers in this, so if you don't want to know a lot about this movie, maybe watch it and then come back. But the story is simple. Killer gets hired to do a job and he botches it. And then the people that hired him to do the job want to eliminate him. And in the process of trying to eliminate him, they hurt his loved one. His wife or girlfriend or better half, they don't explain it, and there's no names. So then he decides he's going to go back and get revenge and trying to discover, using detective work, who it is that's trying to take him out and send a message. Ish. I won't spoil that part of it for you. So yeah, it's a revenge plot to safeguard his loved ones who were trying to take him out. The pros on this, the detective work he does to try and figure out exactly what's going on is entertaining to watch. The tone is tense. It is entertaining. It is a thriller. You're on your seat most of the time, right on the edge, and it's good stuff. I was really enjoying it. It reminded me a lot of The Jackal, which has Richard Gere and Bruce Willis, where Bruce Willis plays the Jackal, the assassin, and his planning steps throughout that movie are also very enjoyable to watch, and it made me think about that a lot. Positives, Tilda Swinton is in it. And you're thinking to yourself, well, if Tilda Swinton shows up, she's a big name. She's a big gun. Like, my goodness, they're not gonna have her just be in one scene, right? But she's great and she's great, and when you see a big name come on, you don't expect something to happen, and that something does happen. There's one action sequence, one fight scene, I should say. There's one fight scene which is really entertaining and riveting and difficult. Yeah, that's a great fight scene. All the other stuff is happening is really methodical and planning and whatnot. But it has to do with a lot of attention to detail. As an assassin, attention to detail. Negatives about the movie, he does this a couple of times where he's on a phone, which is a burner phone, he's going to get rid of it, and he drops it in broad daylight and steps on it with his foot and crushes it and then kicks it into the sewer. He does this a couple of times. That's not how you destroy a phone. You can still get information off of that. I'm not buying that. Not to mention, the sound of a phone hitting the earth is really visible and audible. People know what that sounds like, and they'll always turn their head. And if you saw a guy on the street crushing his phone and kicking it off the curb, you'd notice that. You'd say, did you see that? Yeah, I totally saw that. The guy just crushed his phone with his foot, and he's trying to be inconspicuous. So that part doesn't seem to fit for me. The other thing he does is takes a nail gun and drives it through a computer. And then the guy says, well, all my information's been destroyed. That's not how that works. We're not buying that. We're buying that you can still get the information off that thing. Just firing nails through a thing doesn't work. I wanted to see a little more realism for that in a movie that takes a lot of time showing you a lot of attention to detail. I would have expected a little more attention to detail. It's really good. It's really good. It's really tense. It really keeps me on the edge of my seat. I really enjoy methodical killing stories. It reminded me of The Jackal. And I love stuff like that. I love Enemy of the State. There's another movie with a lot of planning and a lot of intricate things. I like that. I like a well-rehearsed plan of attack. Oh, it's very entertaining. It's all spreadsheety and whatnot. And this movie really fires on lots of levels. And I saw it, I finished watching it yesterday, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking about the scenes. I'm still thinking about how Michael Fassbender has very little dialogue in the entire thing, and it still works on so very many levels to see what he does and how he does it. It was entertaining. It's an hour and 45 minutes long, I think, or however long it was, and I was entertained the entire time. The entire time. Yeah, I recommend The Killer. Go and watch it. It's going to make you think, it's going to entertain you, and a lot of the other stuff is not going to fall. Oh, I almost forgot. He uses aliases throughout the movie, and all of the aliases are based on Generation X sitcom characters. Felix Unger, Oscar Madison, Howard Cunningham, Archie Bunker. And I originally thought, like, well, everyone's going to know that. That's ridiculous. Everyone's going to know those names. No, of course they're not. They're not going to know any of those names unless he goes with SpongeBob SquarePants. No one's going to know any of these names except us. I say us because I'm assuming you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking. So that was a fun part about that. His mantra, there's a lot of voiceover in this. I've taken several screenwriting courses and read lots of books on screenwriting, and they always say voiceover is a cheap way out of telling your story. It is frowned upon, except all the movies I love have voiceover. I like this, I like Goodfellas. Anytime there's a good voiceover telling me what's going on, I'm in. I don't understand that saying that it's cheap. I don't think it's cheap at all. I think it's great. I love that. Well, I'm kind of all over the place on this review today. But seriously, watch The Killer on Netflix, directed by David Fincher, starring Michael Fassbender. I really did enjoy it, and I'm still thinking about it, and that is my key for liking a movie, if I still think about it the next day. Otherwise, it's just gone from my head, but I'm still thinking about it. Yeah. Thumbs up, The Killer on Netflix. That'll do it for today's review. Stay tuned. I'll be coming up with, I'll be doing a review of Tiny Epic Crimes, which is the next game I'll be reviewing. And pretty soon I will have my show, my playthrough of Star Trek Adventures Captain's Log, the solo role-playing game. I've been working really diligently on this, and we're really happy to show it to you, and that'll appear just before Christmas. So keep tuned to the show to watch that. Until I see you next time, as always, peace, love, live long, and prosper. I mean it.